everyone is inspired by the next level, the evolution, the breakthrough, the going for the big dreams. And sometimes we just really got to be there for ourselves and for each other.
You've gotten great at divine working, but what about divine living? Welcome to the Divine Living Podcast. I'm your host, Gina DeVee. You're not alone in wanting more. And here at the Divine Living Podcast, you can expect to be part of conversations from women like us who unapologetically dream big and are obsessed with manifesting our most fabulous lives. The conversation starts now.
Hi, my gorgeous. Happy Tuesday to you. I just finished a most epic encore call for Own Your Throne. And I wanted to use it as the podcast today because I wanted to make sure that you got in on all of the goodness and all of the juiciness of the divine downloads that were coming on through. So get yourself ready for a big dose of inspiration, motivation, self-care, and mostly prioritizing you. Mwah. Lots of love. All right, ladies, welcome. Come on into this fabulous encore call we are about to have. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Thank you for being here. Come on and say hello in the chat. I always love reading them. My team will send that to me afterwards. I love seeing where you're from, where you're zooming in from. So come on in, say hello, warm up the chat, give it some of your love and attention. And I want to know how many of you were here for the live preview that we did last week. Put live in the chat if you attended live. And if this is your first time experiencing a live call, let me know if this is your first time. You can write first in the chat. Just like to give a pulse to see how much of a recap I'm going to do or how much I'm going to move it forward. I always really customize for each and every training and call that I do. So, hey, Athena. Hey, Manuela. Defina, welcome. First time, but you've watched the replays. Good. Lots of you seem to have watched the replays. I get it. It's like you got to have your own customized timing for everything. We're also individualized these days, which is why I'm super excited to have this time where we do get to come together live. You know, it's a really special opportunity before we're like doing even more in-person stuff again, to at least be in a conscious community where women are exploring their next levels. And so that's what we're going to get into here today, is really deepening that. But I just want to give everyone a couple minutes to pop on. I know Zoom gave us a little scare. They were like down as of like 20 minutes ago, but no stopping us, queen. So I'm really delighted that you all are here and joining live. Let's see, we've got Tammy from Spokane. We've got Nadine, Zoe, UK, you attended live, beautiful. First time, just started listening to the podcast this week. Loving it so far. I'm so glad. Welcome. Hi, Bina from New Jersey. We've got Ellie from Canada. Wonderful. Well, come on in. I'm super excited to have everyone here today. What we are talking about is the most important conversation on the planet. It is about women like you thriving and getting out of any place of the stuckness, getting out of any kind of cobwebby sort of feel that we've got like old beliefs or thought patterns or ways of being that we're just done with, and feel like there's these seeds that have been planted inside each and every one of us, and we're just like ready to sprout, aren't we? We're just ready to blossom and bloom and share our gifts and our talents and make our money and transform the areas where we just haven't felt like we're thriving. And that is really what this opportunity is here. When I said, own your throne, this is about you being the most powerful version of yourself, really getting how you get to be equipped with the skills and the knowledge and the education and the tools so that when life comes at us, that we don't go into the old ways of being. We don't go into the old body and the old mind, but we are just really, really breaking through to the next new level so that we are attracting at such a higher vibe way and in such a bigger way. And, this conversation around queenhood, it is not for the faint of heart. It really is for those of us that have a lot of courage, a lot of courage. With as much of the conditioning and programming that has gone into thinking that we have to work all the time, or that something about us isn't good enough, or that some people are just luckier, or whatever the limited thinking is, the tendency is to, when we're done being tired, exhausted, depressed, and filled with anxiety, then the pendulum swing tendency is to go take the bull by the horns. Okay, I'm going to go make 100 phone calls. I'm going to go work out 4 hours a day. I'm going to go make this happen. And then it exhausts us and burns us out and doesn't work at the level that we desire it to. And then we sit there and wonder what's wrong with us. And then we go through that whole cycle again. And then because we're go-getters, we're like, well, I'm not just going to sit here and feel sorry for myself. And then I'm going to go take the bull by the horns again. And it's this vicious cycle that most of us have gotten into in our own way that I'm looking to break with you. And I also am not going to say that I have all of the answers, but I've got an inkling. And the Bible says that if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, that's enough. And I've had to take a look inside my own life and career and dreams and desires, just like you have been wondering what you're doing with your life and wondering what you're meant for next, and just so ready to get on with it. But like, you're not maybe flying yet because there's still like that one thing or the two things or the three things that like you feel kind of held down by. And I can see some of the things that aren't manifesting as quickly as I want them to in my own life. That tendency is coming in. Gina, maybe you're an idiot. Maybe you've taken this woo-woo thing too far. Like maybe it's just time to roll up your sleeves. Like maybe if you don't actually just go and do it yourself, you're going to be sitting around waiting the rest of your life. But I can't be the only one wondering, does this feminine spiritual thing really work? Like, I mean, we believe in it, right? We know that all things are possible with God, but with this thing I'm looking to manifest, with my debt or my weight or my soulmate or my money issues or my career or my clients, how surrendered are we really? Or we're like, I'm going to go rely on myself. I'm going to go rely on the massive action. I'm going to go figure this out. And so I wanted just to be honest about that I have similar tempting thoughts. But when I get sober emotionally, I go back to remembering, even when I take the bull by the horns, and even if it works, I don't want to do life that way. And I'm just willing enough to go deeper into the spiritual realm, just to show my physical body what my soul knows is true. That this is the path, that this is the way, that when you are seeking God, spirit, universe, that there isn't a lack of clarity and there isn't a lack of confidence, that there is guidance, and that there are actual manifestations that come as the result. And it's not about us chasing, and it's not about us forcing, and it's not about us pushing, and it's not about us pulling the flower open, and it's not about us being left behind or any of that. It's about becoming the vibrational match of who you say you desire to be. And that requires work. So don't think that this feminine thing has you sitting on the couch just getting your nails done. Like, for you to become the vibrational match so that you get so great at drawing your dreams to you, actual manifestations, significant increases in the bank account, significant physical manifestations of your biggest desires, that takes devotion and commitment. And that is the heroine's journey. That is the Esther experience. And that's what it's going to look like in your life when you are owning your throne. It doesn't mean that we won't get tripped up from time to time. But doing this together and like doing the deep work that I've got in the curriculum for this program, you're going to become a magnet. And that's what you desire, right? We're queens. What do we want to do? We want to receive. That's what we want. That is what we want. We don't want to go out and get and force and make it happen and wear ourselves out and live in fear. We want to live in the confidence and the truth and the certainty that we know that this way of being in the world is our rightful way to do life and business and joy and love and contribution and leadership. And so the beauty of the Esther story and what I've taken from my years of being a psychotherapist and then a transformational coach is going to have you dive in deep to the areas of your life that have demagnetized you. You know, like that. It's not that the magnetism isn't in you. It's that when we've gotten out of alignment, when we've gotten out of our queenhood, when we've gotten very far away from our throne, it's like when you have a magnet and it's close and it's lined up, it's almost hard to pull it apart because it's so magnetized. But as it gets further and further and further, you don't feel the magnetism, and the magnet aspect of it doesn't work. So as we get you back on your throne in any of the ways which for all of us, we've gotten far away from our throne in many areas. And to be back on your throne, which is where the magnetism is, where then you will start to see the synchronicities and the things that are lining up and your good being brought to you and the clarity of the consciousness and that peace that comes from living in a very feminine way. And I think there's going to be a lot of victorious feelings also. That was the word that I was getting, the feeling of sweet victory. And it's not about having beaten anyone out. It's about winning at life. Like really getting that you are getting the ways that God designed for you to live life and letting it all be brought to you. We can't magnetize our good to us when we've got these other things that have demagnetized us, when we have gotten away from our truth. And the thing about it is that continues to amaze me is the amount that lives in the unconscious, right? Like just when I didn't think there was another layer, just when I thought I'd done my healing work. And I don't want you to feel like there's like this never ending, there's always going to be another layer of the onion. That's not what I believe. That's not what I believe at all. I believe that complete and total healing exists and is available for all of us. Because if it doesn't, then the scriptures aren't true. If all things are possible, that includes complete and total healing. Why would God be like, well, I can heal you 73%? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like, why can't we have a complete and total healing? And to the degree that we wake up to the different layers from our own path and our own things that we should be so proud of, that we have survived, overcome, transformed, become aware of, to have us showing up the way we are today, there's a lot to be proud of. And this is not your first step into looking at what it's going to take for you to be all of you. I can tell you, if you come join me and the other women on this journey, it's going to be a profound next step. It's going to be your own heroine's journey. You're going to discover so many levels of queenhood and magnetism that all the other stuff is going to line up. All the other stuff, because that's you honing your power, you honing your magnetism, and getting so great at not being in fear, getting so great at actually trusting that everything that's happening is happening for you. Getting out of the self-sabotage stuff so that we don't keep creating the same messes that we keep going through. And for some of those bigger life transitional things, not like the little annoyances that dull our light, the divorces, the deaths, the getting let go from jobs, getting cut out of a friend's circle, like, whatever some of like the bigger stuff is, the legal stuff, the health diagnosis, like women are going through some really big things right now. And we don't need to self-manufacture extra pain. We don't need to create something that God has intended to actually be for our benefit and for us to make it a mess. And as women, that's what we're doing a lot of the times, in our own unconsciousness, in our own fear, in our own freak out. But queens know better, and queens see things not as they are, but as they could be. And it's not magic. It's not magic. If you were here live, or if you were watching the replays, you got the power of owning that past and seeing what elements from the past must be transformed in that programming. When you reprogram, you get a different outcome. It's guaranteed. Like, this is the only way to actually guarantee your success, is to get to know you and your programming so well, and then learn how to reprogram it and keep the new programming consistent. That changes your life. And then being in the present moment, this is where we get to be together, to be on the journey, to collect all these pieces of ourselves that we've disowned, to start to get the ways of spirit, that just because it doesn't look like something's happening doesn't mean that it isn't. That there is a divine timing going on for all of us every step of the way, that our biggest dreams are inside of us for a reason. And the opportunity in the present moment is to prepare us to call it in and get great at receiving it. Because how many times have we watched a great girlfriend or relative or someone like actually draw and magnetize their good to them, but then they're the ones blocking it. They draw in a great partner, then they're the ones picking the fight. They draw in a great body transformation, but they can't sustain it. They draw in a great money gig, can't sustain it. Owning your throne means you get great at being you and sustaining the highest version of you. And that's what happens when we really own the present, when we pay attention and take a look at, okay, well, we really, really, really want to think that we're worth it, that we can do it. But the belief system is like, well, I can do this much, but not that much. That's the piece in the present moment that we're going to tend to. And we're going to reprogram and reshape those emotional muscles so that they are exactly in the condition and in the position that you desire them to be in and need them to be in, so that you can live your calling. Because only from the position of queen are you going to really go do the work that you're meant to do in the world. And the world is not being blessed by any of us in lack, any of us playing small, any of us staying in our comfort zones, any of us, like, even when we're willing to settle, it's not helping us or anyone else. Everyone is inspired by the next level, the evolution, the breakthrough, the going for the big dreams. And sometimes we just really got to be there for ourselves and for each other. Sometimes all that you need is watching one woman get her breakthrough, because the way that she did it, then you're like, boom, sister. Yes, if you can do it, I can too. I'm like, you just reminded me what's in me. Thank you so much. Or that other moment when you're just like, I just can't go on right now. I just, and we just collapse. I think Jesus collapsed 7 times carrying the cross. Collapse is very much part of the human experience. We just don't need to stay in the collapse. And we don't need to make decisions in the collapse. And we don't need to be alone in the collapse. Too often, especially now, and even post-pandemic, women that are going through really, really big things, they're isolating and they're suffering in silence. And if that's you, I don't want that to be you. I want you to reach out. I want you to come join us in the group. I want you to be in connection and community. I want you to see what you're going through is what so many other women are going through. And I want us all to be victorious together. The private DMs that I get, I always love it. I always love being in connection and community, but I don't love hearing how women are suffering in silence, or thinking that because of some kind of shame that they've got to like hide who they are and what they've got going on, or the mess that they created, or the thing didn't work out for them. There's nothing wrong with you, and you're not meant to do this alone. We get to be in sisterhood and be in community together and learn from each other, right? It's like anytime I've ever done a group, particularly like the small groups, like the retreats, when women go around and introduce themselves, the group could not look more diverse, like could not look more diverse on the outside. And then when everyone goes to speak, you see yourself in every single woman in that room. And you just it's just the details that are slightly different. That's all. We all have big dreams. You have big dreams, and they're in us for a reason. And for way too long, people have held us back, and then we've conditioned ourselves to hold ourselves back. It's like, what's that science experiment they talk about, that they put, I don't know, whatever kind of like bugs were in a jar, and they put a lid on the jar, and the grasshoppers or something, and they would keep trying to come out, and they kept hitting their head. And then, so that's when people have oppressed us, right? They've like limited our ability to go further. But then what the scientists did is they took the lid off the jar, and the grasshoppers or whatever they were could have kept jumping out, and they just stopped trying. They just conditioned themselves to think that they weren't going to get out. And I don't feel like this group has done that with daily living. I feel like we've done it with our big dreams. If you're here and on this Zoom call and have access to this information, by world standards, your life is probably pretty great, even with whatever kind of pain you're in right now. But we're meant for more. You're meant for more. Like, you're not satisfied with where you're at because of the bigness that is inside of you. And there isn't anything out there that can really bring it out of you. The self-permission must come from you. That you deciding that you are enough, you declaring your worth, you decreeing what your desires are, you being unapologetic about how you want to live and where you want to live and who you want to live with and what you're going to do with your life and your mission and your ministry. This must come from you. Encouragement along the way, that's great. It doesn't stay. That medicine wears off. We can get some added girls and, oh no, you really are amazing, and don't say that about yourself, and feel good for a second. But until you have decreed and declared and put your own truthful words over yourself, doesn't matter. And that's what we do as queens. We learn how to raise ourselves to the level that has us living life thriving, not existing, not surviving, not getting through life. And, women are just so amazing. I've been reading the welcome packets that some of you have submitted so far who have signed up for the course. And you're so beautiful. Like, the whole story, the way that you've been like really going there, like, some of you I know because you've been in other programs of mine, and some of you we're brand new to each other. And to see you just sharing your soul, which is totally appropriate, and it's a private and confidential. Somebody was like, for Gina and team, whoever's reading these, like, I don't actually believe you're reading them. I'm sitting there thinking, like, I'm reading every word of these. What do you mean you don't believe I'm reading these? To see you so show up for yourself and share yourself in that safe place with me is a real testament about what's coming for you. in terms of the breakthrough, in terms of the overcoming, in terms of the thriving, in terms of the financial manifestations that you're going to see, and the love in your life, and the cleaning up of the messes, as we've all got them. And this gets to be not a heavy ride, but a really exciting ride, because we've let other people hold us down too much, and then we've held ourselves back, and we stopped trying. We stopped jumping. And so I'm going to be right here with you every step of the way, jumping in to owning your past and your present so that you can create a future. That is absolutely what this is for, where no queen gets left behind. And it's also not a cookie cutter approach. You're going to be using the pieces of your life and the ways in which you're going to be waking up to, oh my gosh, that's what I'm saying to myself. That's what's actually living in my subconscious. And yes, I have better tools now. I'm making different decisions. I'm showing up for me unapologetically. I have the confidence now to be there for me because I've given myself the permission. I stopped looking for it from other people. And it's amazing how grown, smart, educated, talented, brilliant women are still waiting for permission from men to have money, or waiting for permission from social media to make an offer in the world, or waiting for someone else to think that you're okay so that then you're good enough. Nothing's going to change until you give yourself the permission. And then when you do, everything changes. You start thinking differently. You start, like, the big dreams that you've gotten you right now, like whatever you think your epic future is, go ahead. Just get in contact with whatever you think your epic future is, because I think God could use a good laugh right now. I think that when we really get like our biggest, most expansive, this would be the best thing ever, God's like, oh, sweetness, sweetness. It's that and there's no lid with God. It's that and so much more joy and so much more abundance. And I'll tell you the other thing that modern day queens are going to be mastering. So I think you're going to want to join them with this one. Fun. Fun got left behind in the 90s and the early 2000s, ladies. Like this whole driven thing about build the business and make the money and be there for the kids and be overly responsible and overworking and under earning and all that stuff. Unfun. That is fun free. And I'm telling you, women are starting to prioritize play and pleasure like never before. And what happens when you prioritize play and pleasure and you put yourself on the front burner versus the back burner? Oh, do you think your vibration goes up? Oh, do you think if your vibration is up that you're more magnetizing your good to you? You think more miracles are coming in, more transformations coming in? You think more people are like, what's going on with her? Yes, that's exactly what happens. So all of the stuff that we left behind when we left our femininity behind, this is not the overly deep, heavy therapeutic process where you're not going to get anywhere. We're going for transformation. We're going for the big breakthroughs. We're going for the bliss, and we are not stopping at anything but. And we're not princesses, so we're not expecting the ride to be perfect, and we're not anticipating that there will be no dragons along the way. This time we'll just know how to slay the dragons from a spiritual perspective, from a feminine perspective, and we'll be rising above and getting to do life owning our throne, owning our throne. All right, so my loves, I want you to come join me. I think that you have gotten a flavor and a taste of what is in store for you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen, because I want to make sure that you get into all the epicness that is waiting for you. If you go to divineliving.com/own your throne, you will see the opportunity to register here. I want you to get yourself registered today. I'm going to go over the curriculum with you, so you're going to see everything that you're going to get, and obviously so much more. But go get yourself in. One of the beautiful pieces that you're going to start to do is get into the Facebook groups. You're going to start to see the community of women who've already said yes to themselves and given themselves permission, and are just like, yes, I am on a 10-week transformation journey where I am prioritizing me. So you're going to go in there and see who's in there. You're going to introduce yourself. That's going to be awesome. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to go fill in that welcome packet, because I'm studying each and every one of you. I've actually never done this with a larger class before. I've only done it with my smaller group retreats. And I just had the leading inside of me, like, I want to know who these women are. And so there is an opportunity for me and you to be really close on this journey. And I want you to seize this opportunity. Get yourself registered and get that welcome packet. It's not a 3-part quiz. Those of you who have done it, you can type in the chat. Like, it's full on, because that's what I am as a transformational coach, full on. We're taking all of you into play. Okay, so let me share with you what's going on. Week 1, you are going to learn how to fall in love with your life and declare your non-negotiable desires. So for those of you that don't even know what you want right now, I get it. I think I've shared a month ago, I was there. This stuff can transform super, super fast. So getting you back to who you really are and being in love with yourself and your life and your desires, boom, that's worth the price of admission just week 1. Week 2, you will master the skill of self-permission and never doubt yourself again. We're going to get these exercises in you. And so if any self-doubt comes up, you're just going to go back to the exercise. You're going to know exactly how to not doubt yourself again. Week 3, become untriggerable and eliminate self-sabotage. Who wants an amen on that one? Which queens out there don't want to be untriggerable? Come on, this is for us all. And this is how you know how much of your power you give away every time you go into trigger? I go into trigger. All right, week 4, for such a time as this, what are you meant for? Everything that you have been through and overcome in your entire life, plus the pandemic, has led you to this very moment. And just as Esther had her own, for such a time as this, you have been called into royalty to save your people. I am inviting you to come and discover and declare, for such a time as this, what have you been called for and who are your people? Week 5, get great at receiving and serving by making spirituality your superpower. It's not, in case you're like, this queen thing, it's just all about me and my castle and my royal robes and my money. No. You're going to learn how to get great at receiving from a feminine perspective, that you will learn how to serve like the feminine leader that you are. Week 6, you're going to wake up to your truth by accessing your intuition. So much power, as we know. I mean, how many times you're like, I knew I should have ordered the steak rather than the salmon. I knew I should have said no, but I went out anyway. It's, like that gets to just go away. The courage to communicate like a queen. This is a life skill that will transform every area of your life, from self-talk to how you communicate with others. No more being invisible if that's your thing, or no more being a bitch if that's your thing, or going back and forth. This is where I show you how to deeply, deeply consider yourself and the other person. And then it just transforms communication in such a big way. By week 8, we're going to rewrite the hidden subconscious contracts that ruin your life. All this ick hanging out in the subconscious. Time to reprogram. Week 9, we're going to strengthen your self-worth so that you are living your unique purpose with confidence. You are going to see other people who are just showing up for themselves. You're going to see yourself in them. You're going to be so confident in knowing the difference between you and them. Like, so many people are wondering, well, what's different about me? You want to know the answer to that question? Sign up for this course. And then week 10 will be live your legendary life using the feminine art of manifesting. When you've gotten great at receiving and you know the skills to manifest, you're not going to go chase, you're going to magnetize. All right, so every single week, those of you that love my teachings, you're going to get an hour of teaching each week, and then I'm going to do a full hour of coaching. You're going to see how your life and how the women's lives in this program are just going to get transformed through this coaching every single week after week after week. There's a weekly workbook that's aligned with the themes so that you can dive deep on the topics that we're talking about. There's weekly prayers to enhance your spiritual journey, and weekly guided meditations to access new insights and attract new opportunities. And then you will have the opportunity to access your very own Facebook group. And like I said, there's also the welcome packet that you'll be able to submit as well. I, of course, wanted to make this accessible for everyone. So that's why you can do the pay in full at $9.97, or you can do the monthly stretched out payment plan that I have created that goes beyond the class, because I just wanted to stretch it out as long as possible for you. So go to divineliving.com/own your throne. You will not regret this. You will regret if you don't do it, because can you imagine the amount of power and magnetism and money that you're going to make as you're living the best version of you? And then if that's not enough for you, if you want to come join me live in person in beautiful Naples, Glenn and I have fallen in love with Naples. We've gone like the past 2 weekends, and the restaurant scene is phenomenal. The hotel that you'll be staying at is like right in the middle of downtown. Gift yourself this summer luxury women's retreat. So it's a 3-day retreat, August 5th through 7th in Naples. And if you want to join us for the retreat, you get the entire 10-week class for free. And this is your retreat investment options. You can do the pay in full or the 2-pay payment plan. All right, my loves. So I want to make sure that you've got time. Go in and get yourself registered right now. Go get yourself registered right now, divineliving.com/own your throne, because I want to make sure that you're really preparing yourself for this incredible journey. And part of that will be getting to the Facebook group, meeting the other women, and filling in that welcome packet. And so you get all of that immediately when you sign up. All right, so my loves, I wanted to have this encore call with you all today to really give you a proper grand finale before you go get yourself into Own Your Throne. I want to see you in that Facebook group. I want to see your welcome packet filled out. I want to get to know you. For those of you that want to come join us for the retreat, definitely get yourself registered. Those always do sell out because I do keep them very small. And if you're not sure, just register for the class. And then if you need time to get the money together, my team will handle the finances and, make whatever needs to be made right. But I definitely want to make sure that you're in on the class, that you're well prepared for that, and that you've got the time to do the things that I've talked about today. All right, my love. So this is our time to be here together over these next 10 weeks. I hope that you come join me. I hope that you prioritize yourself. I know that this will be one of the best gifts you've ever given yourself. So go ahead and get yourself on in, divineliving.com/own your throne. Bye-bye.